Hey guys, Werner from the Hack Check podcast, and before I get this video started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. We are on the grind to 5,000 subscribers, and our goal is to get there by the end of the year. Now, it's the Tuesday after the weekend of UFC 305, and it was just the craziest weekend, particularly if you are a South African sporting fan. I mean, we had the Springboks and Dricus du Plessis meeting up with one another. They did the jacket exchange. You know, they say that they're going to get Siyakolisi and Etzebeth to walk out with Dricus du Plessis. We kind of gave him the idea. I'm going to take credit for that because, you know, like 5 weeks ago, we dropped the interview with Dricus, and I asked him, are you going to get Sia and Eben?
You get Sia or Eben in the corner, man. If you pick one of the two to be like, corner. Imagine rocking out with Eben Etzebeth and people like, who the hell is this guy?
Only a professional record, 19 wins, 2 losses.
Security, man.
Maybe they would have had, maybe they already had that idea in mind, but I'll take the credit. So they ended up getting them. Very iconic moment. They ended up meeting each other, on the balcony in Perth. You could see the stadiums for the rugby on the one side, and you could see RAC Arena on the other side. It's really set the tone for the weekend. And Dricus said, it's going to be a clean sweep this weekend. Started off with the Springboks smashing Australia 30 points to 12. Got us off on the right foot, and then we got to UFC 305 with Dricus du Plessis taking on Israel Adesanya. And I'm going to break down round for round for you guys, just briefly, give you my thoughts on the fight and what I think is going to happen next. So yeah, we started with the walkouts. Dricus du Plessis walked out to the South African national anthem, which I thought was pretty cool. He was flanked by Siyakolisi and Eben Etzebeth, as he said he would be. A lot of South Africans got emotional in this moment. It was actually really cool. I had goosebumps when he came out because it's the anthem. It's rugby players that are heroes really in South Africa. And just the atmosphere must have been insane, to be at that. I know a lot of people that were there. To be at that stadium, I just cannot imagine what the atmosphere was like. Dricus did the walkout, looked calm as always. Izzy looked calm as well. Didn't look too nervous at all, even though he'd been out for a year. They got in. They did actually touch gloves, which I thought was pretty cool. Fight kind of didn't start out the way I thought it would. I thought Izzy would be staying back a little bit, particularly because he's been off for the year. I think also, that is more of his style to wait for you to come forward. And then you've got Dricus, who also likes to go forward. So I thought that's how the fight would start out. But it was weird because Izzy was the one putting the pressure on. Dricus was sort of being pushed back. And you could see he was he was quite perplexed because I don't even think they were really expecting that. And Izzy was having a lot of early success with the jabs. Dricus was opening up a lot more with leg kicks. It was very, very even. I think maybe Izzy had a little bit better of the exchanges, slightly better, a little bit more crisp in round one, but very, very even. I think Dricus' shots maybe hurt more. Izzy had a bit more accuracy, but Dricus' shots hurt more. And then, it was going to be a story, I said ahead of time, of Izzy being able to stuff the takedown. And he did a really good job in round one of stuffing the takedown. Dricus did eventually get him down, didn't get to manage to keep him down, but did manage to score a takedown. And, I thought that round was very, very close. But I think on the balance of things, I gave that to Dricus. I know some of the judges gave that to Izzy, but I gave it to Dricus just because the striking exchanges were so close, and he ended up getting the takedown. Izzy looked super, super sharp. There were no signs of ring rust. You would never say that he'd been out for that long. I know it's only a year, but a year is still a long time, especially if you're as active as Izzy was. But yeah, definitely no signs of ring rust from Izzy's side. And yeah, at the end of round one, Dricus kind of looked tired already, which I was like, oh no, here we go again. Is it 8% Dricus again? But I think in the post-fight press conference, he did mention that he wasn't used to fighting on the back foot. So all of his training was going forward. So now it's a different style. So it will tire you out. So he actually admittedly was tired. But the thing with him is you can't think you're just going to take advantage just because he's tired, because he'll just keep fighting till the end. So yeah, round two came and Dricus looked, like I say, looked tired, but he just still kept pushing. It was a lot more of the same, where they were sort of going tit for tat on the feet. And I was a little bit worried because, is he even though it's hard to knock Dricus out, Dricus only been knocked out once, but that's from a very heavy weight cut against an opponent who kind of already, was like a nothing fight. He had beaten him before. But Izzy is accurate. Izzy's knocked out some scary people, and I thought, from round 2 onwards, I was a little bit nervous because Dricus was lunging in a little bit, even though he was having great success. He wasn't getting hit flush, but he also wasn't hitting Izzy flush. So I was already starting to get a little bit nervous there, but Dricus managed to get the takedown, and I thought the fight was going to be over, especially when he jumped onto Izzy's back, because like I said in my prediction video, once Dricus gets him down and holds him down, I felt before the fight he would finish him the first chance that he gets. And to Izzy's credit, I mean, the choke was applied. Izzy managed to turn out of it. And I think Dricus went for it twice, if I remember correctly, in round 2. And I thought it was over. Like, the moment he had his back, he put the choke on, I thought it was over, because I know how tight that squeeze is. Like I said in the pre-fight prediction, that squeeze is insane. And to Izzy's credit, he got out and he got up, and they were fighting again in round 2. And it was just weird again, because Dricus looked, I don't want to say defeated, but he looked like he thought, oh shit. That was kind of like, I put a lot into that submission and I didn't get it. Yeah, so round 2 definitely gave that one to Dricus. So I had it 2 rounds to 0 heading into round 3. Some judges had it 1-1. Round 3 was very even again, but I think, just a lot of tit for tat again. I think Izzy took that round. To be honest with you, I think I think it was the right, he hit him with that spinning back elbow. I thought that, Izzy took that round. A very, very entertaining round, but you could see at that time Dricus was very tired, and I thought, please don't get tired, because Izzy didn't look tired at all. And I thought Izzy might start hanging back a little bit and just wait for Dricus to get super tired and try to finish him in round 5. The round ended, they went into round 4. Dricus again sort of looked tired, but was having a lot of success this time with his punches. Izzy started to look like he was a little bit tired in that round, but they were still going back and forth, tit for tat. It was a very even fight on the feet, which was a little bit surprising, because given that, yes, Dricus comes from a kickboxing background, but people don't really give him his credit and give him his dues, and that just goes to show that that awkward style is still something that people have a hard time figuring out, even an elite striker like Israel Adesanya. So then they got to sort of midway in the second round. Izzy did the Max Holloway point, and then straight afterwards got finished. I feel bad for Izzy for doing that, because he got tagged, did the Max Holloway point, and like 15 seconds later, Dricus hit him with the right hand and took him down, took his back, and this time there was no escaping the choke. When he sunk it in that time, I shouted, "It's over." On our watch-along, which, by the way, if you guys want me to start doing watch-alongs and live streams, please comment live stream in the comments, and I'll definitely do it from UFC 306. And Dricus sunk in the choke. Once he switched to that Gable grip, I knew it was done. Dricus sunk in the choke with his feet crossed, by the way, which has pissed off a lot of the jiu-jitsu enthusiasts. But sunk it in, got the choke, Izzy tapped, and Dricus du Plessis retains. Still the middleweight champion of the world. Did the little "let me hear you" celebration, which I also quite liked, because a lot of people wrote him off in this fight. The crowd was booing before, and again, they cheered him afterwards. So yeah, the fight was kind of how I thought it was going to go, in terms of the finish at least. In terms of the getting to the finish and the rest of the fight, I was really, really surprised to see Izzy pushing the pace in the beginning and Dricus on the back foot in the beginning. I was also quite surprised to see how even they were in the stand-up exchanges, particularly given Izzy's elite stand-up proven in the UFC. Dricus was a little bit susceptible to getting hit previously, but didn't take too much damage, I don't think. We'll wait for everything to come out. But yeah, it just goes to show you guys, you can never count out Dricus du Plessis. People keep doubting him. People keep saying he's shit. Bilal Muhammad said now he's shit. Darren Till's trying to pipe up and say he's shit. Until you get in there with the guy, no one will understand how hard it is to deal with that style. People can say it doesn't look good. People can say it's not a slick style. People can say it doesn't look professional. Whatever you say, no one can deal and prepare for that awkward stand-up style and that freakish strength on the ground. It is something else. Until you've experienced it, nobody can prepare for that. Yeah, and it was such a crazy scene to see afterwards. The Springboks going wild in the crowd. Siya Kolisi and Ibn Etzebeth. It was so cool. After the fight, not even a minute later, there was a post from Poatan saying that he wanted to fight Dricus. He said he's coming down to 185. I called bullshit straight away. There is no way Poatan is making 185 ever in his life again, particularly not now that he weighs like, what, 230, 240. I'm sorry, I don't see that fight happening at 85. Dricus himself said, no chance at 85, because he doesn't want Poatan to maybe have some excuses of having to cut weight or any of that kind of thing. So he said 205. It might be a bit quick to have the fight at 205. You know, his coach was talking, Morne Visser was talking about having Izzy, you know, UFC Africa. It only feels right against Izzy. UFC Africa is supposed to be next. It was promised by Dana. Strickland was promised a title shot. Bilal's piping up. So it's weird to see. It's going to be weird to see what happens next. All I know is that the celebrations in South Africa are going to be even bigger than last time. I can't wait for the announcement for UFC Africa. Hopefully it comes. And whoever Dricus fights next, whether it be the winner of Robert Whittaker and Khamzat Chimaev, whether it be Sean Strickland rematch, whether it be, I don't think it's Izzy, whether it be the Sean Strickland rematch, whether it be Poatan at 185 or 205, I think Dricus is probably one of the biggest draws now in the UFC because of the options of fights he has. I mean, if you look at who he's just beaten Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, and Israel Adesanya, and he finished Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. That's a crazy resume in your last 3 fights. His next 3 potential fights are just as crazy. Khamzat or Whittaker again, Poatan and Strickland again. UFC, do an event in South Africa and the numbers will be crazy. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought of UFC 305 as a whole. What do you guys think of Dricus' performance? What do you guys think's next for Dricus? What do you guys think's next for Israel Adesanya? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you for the next one. Cheers, everybody.